So I get a lot of questions every day in regards to my egg color. That is one of my favorite things to work for in my breeding program. It's very rewarding for me to see the hard work pay off. And I get a lot of questions every day in regards to breeding for egg color and how to do it. So I figured for my 7 o'clock egg collecting time, would do just a small video of the eggs that I found in the nesting boxes today. Some of these will be sorted out and they will go into my private incubator and be marked for future breeding. And these are some of the things that I look forward for in my eggs, as to, for certain genes that the mother is going to carry or the father carries. So I can mark that in my records and then move along with my breeding program. So one of the first things are on the speckled eggs. These dark pigments that you see, these spots, that's a good indication that that parent stock is a carrier for dark eggs. So those will be going into the incubator and marked for what pen they came from, if it was a Moran's or a Well Summer, and if it was speckled. And then that bird will come out and it will be toe punched accordingly. And then if it's a hen, she'll go into a special cage that I have to grade eggs when she gets close to laying. The rooster will be out to free range if I end up liking him. And so this particular hen will be noted to be speckled with dark pigment. So chances of the offspring laying a dark pigment is pretty high, or for speckling. If I don't like the way she looks physically to the standard, she can go in for olive eggers, with the potential of being the green speckled. But you can see the dark pigments on this egg. And a lot of the times the speckling is just from the egg turning really, really slow in the final processing of the egg when it develops. So another thing for the dark eggs is I will look for is on the scratch marks here. So this is an F2 olive egger, and you can see the dark pigment starting on top of the brown egg. So this is actually how a lot of my Moran started years ago when I first got into the Moran breed. And from there I got to here with my breeding program. And this is what they started like. Even though she's an olive egger, she can be bred for potentially darker egg layers or for dark green. And I really like this hen. She lays about 2 eggs a week. This is her second one. Her first egg is always darker. The second one always is it's light like that. But the scratch marks with that pigment you can see scratched off, that is one that I would potentially keep to put into my breeding program, because the potential is there to get to those dark eggs. So she's not in quite ready for a breeding. I haven't made up my mind as to where I want to go with her, but we'll get there eventually. And then this is one of the olives with the speckles, and you can kind of see the darker green on top. So this one I would pair with a dark rooster to darken that and get darker eggs. This here is second generation. It's hard to see the bloom, but there's one of the bloomers, and I do bloomer, a bloomer pullet to a bloomer cockerel, and I've gotten a lot of the dark blooms that way. But the egg color itself is not steady, so I've gotten a lot of different mixed colors with those. It's still a work in progress. There's not a lot out on actual bloom breeding, so it's a lot of trial and error. And then this here is another, it's more pigment on this olive. So this one here has the potential to make really nice third generation olive eggers, or she'll go back for a first or second generation back cross. So I always look for things like that in my eggs in terms of color. This one here is a this is a blue copper Marans, and for whatever reason her eggs are always like this. They're not exactly an even coat of the pigment, but you can still see the colors there. It's not as evenly coated as this one. This is from a black. So, you know, and there's more that goes into it, not just color. There's certain features, physical features that you want to look for in your hens too, and start from there. The blues are kind of a hit and miss. So I just breed for poor layers, basically, to darken the blue colors. So the best advice I can give you is have good ratios so that you can make up for the poor layers. With good layers, the colors will be lighter most of the time, but you'll still be getting eggs on a regular basis. I have a lot of birds for my colored layers, more than like some of my silkies and my bantams. So because the genetics are just, it's a huge roadmap, and it's easy to get lost in all the breeding. So I have a lot of them, and they go by bands and toe punching for identification, and I have record books to know exactly the lineage on each hen. So it's a work in progress when you start breeding for egg color, but this is where I started. Was about this light, and I worked to get to this now. And this is actually kind of light for her, but it's rewarding, and it's so fun to see all the colors. It's every time I collect eggs, you know, it's something different, and I still find stuff, you know, that's like, oh my God, you know, it's I haven't seen before. And this one is Americana here, and then the leg bar, she had a bloody egg today. She doesn't lay every day, but she's laid a couple here for me in a row. But her eggs are a little bit bigger than normal, I think. Yeah, this is hers. Her egg today. This Easter egger. This is from my blue-based Easter eggers. And this is from a Bantam project that I'm working on. And most of these colors that you see here are found in my rainbow basket assortments. You'll get a little bit of everything and then some. And then I got some silky eggs in there, but that's just a little tidbit on breeding. I get a lot of questions about it, and that's the first thing that I look for in my dark layers. And my Maran hens is traces of this painting of the egg color. So that's what I want to see. That's what I start with. And then I keep going from there, and a lot of other factors go into it, but that's the start, and that's how I started breeding my colors. And it gets better every year. It's a timely process. It will not happen overnight. It's been almost 10 years that I've been breeding just for egg color. So, you know, it's fun though. It's rewarding, and I highly recommend everyone to do it, because it really keeps it interesting, and it's like Christmas every time you go out to collect eggs. You know, I love it. So that's just your little tidbit. In the future, I'm hoping to have a class on a little bit more in depth on the breeding for egg color. So that's it for tonight. Everyone have a good weekend. Stay sane, stay safe, and stay home, unless you absolutely positively have to be outside.